What's up, guys? So we're gonna make a video about the article that I just saw right now. So this is just like about the endgame content and welcoming new players. So this is interesting for me because I think the game has one of the best gacha games. Right? It has one of the best like gameplay out of the all the gacha games. Gacha games I played. I played a lot of gacha games. I tried a lot of them and they have different endgame content. So for Arc Knights, there's the Annihilation, something like that. It's pretty good, right? They always add a new content for that, and it's interesting, right? There's also the newer map is actually getting harder. That's very great. The events are actually harder. It's like events that if you're free to play, you will struggle, but you can do it. That's the thing. What makes Arknights amazing, right? So that Arknights has like I'm gonna reference Arknights a lot because it's a gacha game, almost the same, but this is like a open world MMO kind of thing. It's not MMO. It's a RPG game, role playing game. But the thing is, the game is super great. But if they have no plans for an end game, it's kind of sad. you know, they could keep adding new content and continent and new areas, but the enemies have no change, right? Currently, is the only end game content is Spiral Abyss. I cannot consider Spiral Abyss as an end game content. The reason for that is that Spiral Abyss, once you cleared it, it's it's like a daily quest in the game. It's like you just forget about it. Sometimes you don't even do it, right? If you're a casual player like me, I don't do it sometimes. I just forget about it. And in the Spiral Abyss, it's like the 11 and 12 is the only actually decently hard content in that game, you know? Like if you like think about it, you play Abyss 11 and 12, it's just if you have already cleared it once, it's just like doing a domain, like farming an artifact, right? You just cleared it, and it's just like the same feeling that nothing really, not that great, but it's fun, right? They could just like make it a bit more fun by adding more floors. Like it's such a simple thing. Like why haven't they done that? In the Abyss floor 12, I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, so in the Abyss floor 12, so the Abyss floor 12 is like consisted of half half floors. Like 1 to 8 is just like introduction. It's like tutorial stuff, right? This feels like tutorial. And 9 to 12 it's like 9 to 11 is like just mid tier. 11 to 12 that's the actually end game kind of content. But if you notice, this is our middle. There's the this is actually very good, right? Like, what if they just like increase the floors, right? And what if they just like every reset we have to start from the one, right? We just keep climbing, and reach a higher floor. Also, why haven't they thought of adding a new floor? Like, it's such a simple thing. It's just literally copy, paste, add 13 here, add 13 here. You can even just like do something stupid like adjust the level, right? So this is has like level, what level of enemies in here? 72. 72, right? They could just adjust that. Level for this would be lower. This would be lower. The next one would be higher. And the thing is that the thing that makes this a bit fun in that sense is that of the disorder, right? What if you just make a negative disorder, right? Just 12, 13. Next floor, All electros, lower damage. 14, next floor. Like irregular ley lines, something like that. But they never thought of that. It's such a simple thing. If I know how to code, by the way. I know that stuff. It's such a simple thing. If you have already a a template for something that is already made, it's the same as copy pasting it. Something like that. I know it's harder than that, but just to make it simpler. But it's not reinventing something different, right? It's just adding something that's already in the game and it's completely the same. It's just something to like keep the players from playing the game, something like that. It doesn't really change something, but I think endgame is I'm just what I'm saying is endgame is very important for any game any game that any game that I think is just it has a combat, right? Any game that has a gacha game that has a world building, something like that, combat. I think it should have an end game where people can test their characters' combat level,
花と酒を手
how
に
they
景色を堪
perform,
能しよ
how
う
they can actually show that hey, I I use this artifact. I wanna see how good it is because we all know even if we complete this map, everything in here activated, all the end, even the end game lore stuff like that. Even if we already have that, the very end enemies will be the same. They have the same difficulty. Nothing will change, right? Which is sucks because there's no difficulty. Like the overworld, you're just fighting the same mob but different mob without any more difficulty because they could add the mechanics, right? Like the abyss with their shield. That's fun, but in the end, they're just the same level. Like they scale with your characters, right? And that sucks because there's no feeling of like I farmed this. I played the game a lot of times. I farmed a lot of artifacts. Like I built this guy. I built the team for this guy. You know, but there's nothing that you could really enjoy. That no, it's like a feeling of like, hey, fought with this team. I wasted a lot of time for this, and I'm using this team to fight a very hard content that I wanna clear, right? If I'm not haven't cleared it or I clear it, at least I have something, a place that is a little more consistent than the Abyss 12 that I could enjoy this, right? Because a game that is like has a very good combat system, like reaction combination like that, very good
揺らぐこと
skills,
な
even
し
if it's just two skills, it's so fun because you're mixing stuff, it's fun. But if it's just this thing, sometimes it's just very dead, right? Very boring. You just forget it in due time, right? It's like playing a farming game, right? Right. That's the actual, actual, the actual thing. That's like the actual definition would be right. The game is like a farming game, right? Do you even go to the Serenity Teapot and collect your harvest? I don't. I never cared for that shit. Like I can just literally go to other people's world and farm their plants, right? That's such a stupid thing. There's no auto collect even, right? I'm not gonna bother with that. The game is like a very much a farming game. Like other gacha game, there's such a difficulty spike that even if you're end game, you will strive to like go clear, right? The game has none of that. That's why I think they should at least implement one of that, and then they could proceed like doing every shit they want. But because this game is like super into making mini games, right? TCG stuff like that. It's fun. I like card games, but nah. Anyway, for power creep and stuff, they don't need to reinvent this. The power creep doesn't matter if they add a very powerful character, because there's nothing in the game that you cannot beat even with the standard characters. Like enviosity like shows that, right? This is the reactions, right? They don't really answer that much. They basically say no. No for all of this, right? I already told you that. So you don't really want care for that either, because Denru is enough for now. Geo, of course, Geo is lacking. Catalyze is such a Crystallize is such a stupid thing, right? You should be able to see something else like that better than just having a shield from crystals. That's stupid. Next is the expand of Resin Cap. Obviously, this should be improving. Every region, resin should get higher, because new bosses requires extra resin to clear among with the other bosses. So if you're a new player, if you have still the same resin, you're not gonna be able to catch up with other older players. I mean, there's no need to catch up because it's such a free to play game, but it's still kind of even more annoying, because there's like even more gate. Like they just keep they're just keep on adding time gated stuff, because they aren't adding resin, right? Resin gated, I mean. Next would be cutscene for the events. So the other cutscene, you can just watch it on YouTube. I mean, it would suck, but that you haven't gotten the same kind of cutscene, which is very sometimes are connected to the lore, but sometimes doesn't really matter. Costume, they this is probably the only thing that they answer with maybe, like, but in the end it's still the same. It's a no. They have no cares for the traveler wearing different outfits, because they think that's a bit too much of a job, because obviously traveler, when he changes the element, he has the color change for like the crystals, but they don't need to add that, to be honest. Just give us a different clothing for each region, like such a simple thing, but they haven't done it, so obviously they don't really care. Like this, also cup that you the flower that the Aranakas made for you, you can't even equip it, so no. And for the crossover, this is such hit or miss, because we get the Horizon Zero Dawn for Alloy. So they can create crossovers, but obviously they are like trying their best to not have a crossover. Even with the games in their own games, they are afraid of that. So and just the end, this is basically just MiHoYo being a multi-billionaire million company is still extremely afraid of making new content or creating a change, right? You thought they'd have an experience with their other games, but they don't. They're such a bitch.